welcome once again. Today we shall be studying from the prose section, the second chapter, that is Old Man at the Bridge, written by Ernest Hemingway. Before I start the explanation of this chapter, let me tell you the summary of this chapter in very short. Actually, this is a very powerful story which dictates the tragic end of the innocent peoples during a war. Whenever there is a war, be it a civil war or be it a war between two different countries, the most affected people are the innocent ones who have got nothing to do with any of the parties. That means they do not belong to either of the parties, and they are the most affected. So this story revolves around two powerful characters, that is the old man and the soldier, and their conversation reveal about the tragedy that happens to the innocent lives of the people who are badly affected due to the destruction caused due to war. This story mainly describes the tragic end of those people who are not involved in any kind of politics, also the destruction and the devastation caused during a war. So this story was set in a countryside, in a village during the Spanish Civil War, and the conversation starts between an old man and the soldier. This conversation starts when this old man was told by the soldier to evacuate his village and go to a safer place. But this man, he is so much worried about the ones he was taking care of. That means in the name of his family, he just had a few animals, and he is very sorry, or he feels very guilty on leaving them unattended because he was forced to leave his village to go to a safer place due to the artillery attacks. So this man remains obsessed with the thoughts of the safety of his animals. This old man represents all the innocent casualties that are caused during a war. His life is a symbol of the countless civilians who are the victims during the war. This story reflects the theme of depression, resignation, and impending death. So let's start with the chapter Old Man at the Bridge, written by Ernest Hemingway. An old man with steel-rimmed spectacles and very dusty clothes sat by the side of the road. So this is the beginning of the story. When we we can imagine the situation that there was an old man. He was wearing the spectacles whose rims, or I mean the frame was of steel, or it was steel rimmed. There was a pontoon bridge across the river, and carts, trucks, men, women and children were crossing it. So where he was sitting, after that we see a pontoon bridge. Pontoon bridge is made with some hollow containers, जैसे कि लकड़ी के बड़े बड़े से ड्रम्स होते हैं, सो उनको मिला मिला के we make a pontoon bridge that floats on water, and that is not very smooth. So there was a pontoon bridge across the river, and there the carts were moving, some trucks were moving, men, women and children were trying to cross the bridge from one side to another side. I'll explain to you the chapter in detail. Now let's see the story. Actually, this bridge is the symbol of, here if you are here, you are awaiting death, and if you cross the bridge, you are safe. So it is symbolic of life and death. The mule-drawn carts staggered up the steep bank from the bridge, with soldiers helping push against the spokes of the wheels. The carts were being drawn by mules खच्चर जिसको बोलते हैं, जो माउंटेनियस एरियाज में हमको चढ़ाई कराने के काम में आते हैं, they are mules. So these carts were drawn by the mules. They are like donkeys, and they were staggering. That means they were finding it very difficult to climb the inclined area. That means from this area to reach to the pontoon bridge. So the soldier was helping to pull the wheel or to pull the spokes of the wheel in order to reach to the inclined area, so that they could get to the bridge and reach to the other part of the bridge. The trucks ground up, and away heading out of it, all the peasants plodded along in the ankle deep dust. So the trucks were also moving, and because everyone was in a hurry to go to a safer place, that means this area, I already told you, it is set near a countryside, so maybe the roads were not this thing, concrete roads, they may be the kacha roads, and because since the trucks were going, the carts were going, the peasants were going, men, women, children, everyone was hurrying to reach to a safer place, so there was a lots of dust all around. And the peasants are the people like who are work in an agricultural farm, or the farmers. So they all were walking with ankle deep dust, and they were walking, that means it was all dusty all around. But the old man sat there without moving. He was too tired to go any further. So see the contrast situation. When everyone was in a hurry to go to a safer place, this man was sitting over there as if he was inviting the death, or he was waiting for his impending death. So this is a contrast. Everyone in a hurry to go to a safer place, this man sitting there for some reasons. It was my business to cross the bridge, explore the bridgehead beyond, and find out to what point the enemy had advanced. So I already told you in the beginning, this story takes place during the Spanish Civil War. So the soldier, we can just say that he could be a scout soldier, or he was a war correspondent, or he was a soldier whose duty was to see that everyone reaches a safer place, and also go to the end of the bridge to see how far the enemy had advanced. That means everything was in control until everyone had reached to a safer place. So I did this. That means he had gone to the end of the bridge, he found out that the enemy was still far away, and then when he returned back to the pontoon bridge, there were not so many carts now. That means most of the people had already gone to a safer place, and very few people on foot, but the old man was still there. At that time he saw that a few carts were coming, were being drawn by the mules, and very few people could be seen trying to cross the bridge. But he was surprised to see that what's wrong with this old man, why is he still sitting there at the bridge, why doesn't he move to a safer place? So then he starts the conversation with the old man. This is a very casual conversation. Actually his mind was all filled with troubles and worries ki everyone reaches safely, or the soldiers do not come and attack. So his mind was preoccupied with all the thoughts. That means he had to keep an ear and eye, and also he had to help the people reach to a safer place. So he started the conversation with the old man, and he says, "Where do you come from?" I asked him. This is the soldier. "From San Carlos," he said and smiled. The old man says, "From Saint Carlos," that is the name of the place where he belonged to, and smiled. Now this line is very important. Why does the old man smile when he talks about his hometown? Because that gives him pleasure, and he feels proud to reveal the name of his village to which he belonged to. That was his native town, and so it gave him pleasure to mention it, and he smiled. So when somebody asks you, who are you? So to tell that you are an Indian, so it's a proud moment for you. So you should be happy about that, that you are an Indian or you belong to a particular place. So that happened with this old man as well. I was taking care of animals, he explained. Now, maybe without the soldier asking him, he knew the next question that the soldier would ask him was that, why are you late, or why don't you go to a safer place? He started his conversation and he said, I was taking care of the animals, just to make him clear that that is the reason I was late to come out from my hometown, or that is the reason why I am late. Oh, I said, not quite understand. Now, this soldier who just is involved in a conversation in a casual manner, but all his mind is to see the safety, to see that people reach the safer place. So he says, oh, yes, he said, I stayed, you see, taking care of animals. I was the last one to leave the town of San Carlos. He did not look like a shepherd nor a herdsman, and I looked at his black dusty clothes and his grey dusty face and his steel rimmed spectacles and said, what animals were they? Now he says, I was taking care of the animals. Now when he said he was taking care of the animals, this soldier thought ki, from his appearance he doesn't look to be a herdsman or a shepherd. Then he just continues with the conversation and he said, what animals were there? Which animals were you taking care of? Various animals. Huh? Various, मतलब बहुत सारे, many animals. Now this figure of speech is hyperbole, like he wants to say many animals. Huh? He said and shook his head. I had to leave them, and he is very guilty, sorry to say I had to leave them. I was watching the bridge and the African looking country of the Ebro Delta and wondering how long now it would be before we would see the enemy, and listening all the while for the first noises that would signal that ever mysterious event called contact. And the old man still sat there. Now the soldier says, I was all the time worried, and I was very vigilant, and I had to keep my all my senses open to find out even the first step that the enemies are approaching. And I was so worried to see that this old man was still sitting over there. Why is he not moving to the other side of the bridge? What animals were they? I asked. So in order to continue with the conversation, he asked him what animals were they, because from his appearance he could make out that he is not a herdsman or a shepherd. There were 3 animals altogether, he explained. There were 2 goats and a cat, and then there were 4 pair of pigeons. So he says there were 3 types of animals altogether I was taking care of. He says there were 2 goats, there was 1 cat, and there were 4 pair of pigeons. I was taking care of them. And you had to leave them? I asked. The soldier says, okay, and then you had to leave them and come here to a safer place. Yes, because of the artillery. The captain told me to go because of the artillery. Now, artillery are very large guns used during the warfare. So he says, yes, due to the artillery, one of the soldiers came and he told me to go to a safer place, and because of that, I had to leave my animals all alone, unattended, and I had to come here. And you have no family. Now, from his conversation, he just wanted to find out what about the other members in your family. So he asked, and you have no family? That means you don't mention about any other person in your family. I asked, watching the far end of the bridge from where a few last carts were hurrying down the slope of the bank. And then, although he was talking to him, but then he was not interested in his talk, so that was just a casual talk, just to keep him engaged, and to find out what he wants to say, or what the reason why he doesn't go to the other part of the bridge. But all his attention was to see that a few carts were left, so they were also heading towards the other side of the bridge, and to make it clear that the enemies are not advancing. No, he said, only the animals, I stated. He says, no, I have no family. My family is only the animals about whom I have already stated to you. The cat, of course, will be all right. Now he talks about the animals, and then his worry about the animals. He says, the cat, of course, will be all right, because he says the cat will be able to take care of itself, because cats usually are independent animals and they know how to protect themselves. So he says cats will be able to take care of itself. A cat can look out for itself, but I cannot think what will become of the others. Then he is worried about the pigeons and the goats. Cat is so he says cat is an independent animal. It can take care of itself, but I am really worried about the pigeons and the goats. What politics have you? I asked. That means which political party do you favor? Either the fascist party or the other party. That means the attacking parties or the parties which were fighting between themselves. So he asked which party, which what politics you belong to. I am without politics. This old man now changes his course of discussion and he says, I do not belong to any party. I am just like any innocent or any person living in the village, and I don't belong to any of the parties. I am without any politics. I am 76 years old and he just wants to say this. Look at my age, I am already 76 years old, and this is not the time when I should be favoring any of the parties. So I don't belong to any party. I have come 12 kilometers now, and I think now I can go no further. And he says, I've already walked, look at my age, and I've already walked 12 kilometers, and my legs are not supporting me to walk any further. So I'm extremely tired and I won't be able to move any further. This is not a good place to stop, I said. But the soldier warns him and says, the place where you are sitting is not a safe place. So it could prove fatal to you, it could prove dangerous to you. So he says, this is not a safe place for you where you are sitting. That means he wanted to say, you go to the other side of the bridge. If you can make it, there are trucks up and the road where it forks for Tortosa. Tortosa is the name of a place. Fork means to divide into two. So he says, just if you can gather a little bit of strength and then stand up and move little further, when the bridge ends, you'll find some trucks over there and the trucks will reach you to a safer place. So just get up and try and move. I will wait for a while, he said. That means he is extremely tired. He says, that means he is not able to get up and walk, so he tells the soldier, I'll wait for a while and then I will go. Where do the trucks go? So he informs him, wait, I will have to wait a little more while, then I'll get up and go. By the way, where do these trucks go? Towards Barcelona, I told him. The soldier says these trucks go towards Barcelona. Now, if you are set out of your house and you are told to go to an unknown place where you are not known to anyone, where you are a stranger, you are not very comfortable to go there. So he says these trucks go to Barcelona, but this old man is not very happy to listen this, or he does not want to go to a new place. I know no one in that direction. He says, I do not know anyone in Barcelona. But thank you very much. Thank you again very much. But he is very polite. He is very humble. And so he says, thank you very much for the concern that you want me to go to Barcelona so that I could be safe there. But he says, I do not know anyone over there. He looked at me very blankly and tiredly. Then said, having to share his worry with someone, the cat will be all right, I'm sure. Then he looked at the soldier without any expression. Sometimes from your expressions, we can make out what you want to convey. But this man had blank expressions. Then again he says to the soldier, or he looks at the soldier and he says, the cat will be all right, I'm sure. The cat will be able to go to a safer place. There is no need to be unquiet about the cat. So he says there is no need for me to worry a lot about the cat because it can go to a safer place. But the others, now what do you think about the others? Now what do you think will happen to the other animals? Why? They'll probably come through it all right. Now he is consoling him and saying, you just don't bother about the animals, they will be fine. So probably they too will be able to go to a safer place, or they will be fine. You think so? Now he cross questions him and he doubly makes sure, or he asks him, do you think so that they will be all right? Yeah, they will be, can you reassure me that they will be all right? Why not? I said, watching the far bank where now there were no carts. So, although he is talking with him, but his mind is somewhere else, so he says, yes, yes, why not? And then he looks at the far side of the bridge, and now all the carts are gone, it's all empty. But what will they do under the artillery when I was told to leave because of the artillery? Now he tells the soldier, now how can you reassure me that the animals will be safe due to the artillery attack? Because one of your soldier, he told me to leave that place because of the artillery attack. If I was unsafe there, how can you be very sure saying that the animals will be safe over there? Did you leave the dove cage unlocked? I asked. Now, see, in the beginning he talks about the pigeon, but this soldier is talking about dove. So, there is a significance about these words as well. Now, the soldier asked him, did you leave the dove cage open? That means in the cage where the pigeons or the doves were there, did you leave the cage open? Yes. Then they will fly. The soldier says, then they will fly and be safe. Yes, certainly, they will fly. But the others, it's better not to think about others, he said. Then the old man says, okay, I have left the dove cage open so the pigeons will fly, but the others, who is left now? The goats. Now, what will happen to the goats? Now, the soldier changes the course of conversation and he says, if you are rested, I would go, I urged. So if you are rested, let me go to some other place to help people reach a safer place. That means just try and get up and go towards the other end of the bridge. Get up and try to walk now. Just get up and try to walk now. Thank you. So see how polite he is. So again he is thanking him because he is so much worried about his safety. So he says, thank you once again for your concern. He got up, he sat and got to his feet, swayed from side to side, and then sat down backwards in the dust. He got up, but his body was not supporting him. So when he tried to walk, he swayed from side to side. That means his legs were trembling, his legs were shaking, so he was not able to walk. And then he stumbled down, and then again he sat down in the dust. I was taking care of animals, he said dully, but no longer to me. Now he's not talking to the soldier because, according to him, the soldier's duty is over. He kept on telling him to go to a safer place. So then, now he was talking to no one, like he was talking and to himself. He said, I was only taking care of the animals. There was nothing to do about him. So now the soldier is the narrator of this story. So he says now there was nothing to be done or said about him because he was like he was waiting for his death. It seemed that he was waiting for his death. It was Easter Sunday. Now Easter Sunday, Easter is the festival which is being celebrated by the Christians after the Good Friday. Now these are again two contrast sentences. Easter Sunday, that means on Good Friday, Jesus Christ was reborn, like he was crucified and he came back to life again. So the Catholics they celebrate this festival as Easter Sunday. Now Easter Sunday, this man is waiting for his impending death. So again contrast here. I was only no sorry. It was a grey overcast day with a low ceiling, so their planes were not up. This is about the enemies. So he says, although it was Easter Sunday, the clouds had covered the sky, and there were lots of clouds, and so the enemies were not able to bring their fighter planes and to start the firing. And so that could be good one way, or maybe when the cloud clears up, the sky clears up, they would start with their war. That and the fact that cats know how to look after themselves was all the good luck that the man would ever have. So according to this narrator, he says that it was Easter Sunday, one thing. Second thing, the enemies were not able to fly their fighter planes because it was the sky was covered with clouds. And the third thing was that the cats will be able to take care of themselves. Now the use of colors, you see, the narrator has used the colors like steel rimmed spectacles, black color, grey color, dust. All these colors, they signify sadness. All these colors signify the situation or sad situation or the gloomy situation. There is no vibrancy of colors. There is no different or orange color, pink color, green color. These colors are not used. That means no happiness in the lives of innocent lives. Again, I would like to tell you, we do not know what might have happened to this old man. Most probably, he might have died, and also he was feeling very guilty for having left the animals over there. Now, the different types of animals that we talk about, pigeons and doves. Pigeons or doves are the symbol of love or the symbol of peace. So they will fly away to, that means related to those people who are going to a safer place, going to a peaceful place where they won't be attacked by the enemies. A cat, independent, and it will also be able to go to a safer place. Now who is left? Goats. Now goats are compared to the innocent people who are, goats are usually sacrificial animals. You must have heard goats being sacrificed at the altar of God. So goats are innocent, and for no fault of theirs they are sacrificed. Similarly, the innocent lives of the people are sacrificed here whenever there is a war. This is all about the chapter. I hope you have enjoyed it. Read it once more and then we'll discuss about it if you have any doubts in it.